Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the United Kingdom Speedrunner Gathering. Normally, we are a 2-day event speedrunning marathon held 4 times a year in Scotland, in Glasgow specifically. But due to the situation with COVID-19, we are bringing you 3 days of exciting speedruns from the comfort of our own homes to yours. Thank you for sticking with us. Today, we are in day 1, of course, and we are about to head off to some Ghostbusters. But before we do here, we do have a little bit of love for the Anodyne run that just happened there. We got a $5 donation from Josh215 that says, much love to Anodyne and all the community. A fantastic couple of games and a great speedrun, smiley face. And we also have a $20 donation from Parker NL saying, great Anodyne run. Indeed it was. Thank you very much for that run. But now we have even more for you as well, with Destructiox taking it away with Ghostbusters.
Hello everyone in the UK and outside who are watching. I'm Destructiox, and with me is my commentator, Bima.
Yo.
So we're going to be going through 2 games back to back. There's going to be a great treat. We've got Ghostbusters here. Everyone, people love this game. I loved the movie as a kid. I loved the game as a kid. And then we've got X-Mutants following up after that. So we're going to start now with Ghostbusters. It takes place after the events of the movie. Things have quietened down a bit. And but then there's a sudden pickup of ghost activity, and this is where the game starts off. So I'm going to begin the run in 3, 2, 1, go. So we're playing as Egon. He is the fastest, but he has the least health. That might sound like a bad thing, but we're actually going to be making a lot of use of it throughout the runs. We're going to be losing lives intentionally in places, and sometimes unintentionally in other places. But we're going to be doing continue warping, which is a nice fun thing that we get to do to save time, cut back through levels quicker by starting at the beginning again. So this is relatively normal platforming, but there's mini-bosses in all the stages, and we're coming up to our first one now, Silk Hatton. What we have to do, you have to defeat this boss, we have to defeat the ghost that pops out of his hat, the main body will disappear, we defeat the individual pieces that split up, but after we beat the boss, a little green ghost will appear, and this is the heart behind the catching ghosts in the game. So we defeat these little mini-bosses, we catch the green ghosts. Once we've captured all the green ghosts, we're able to access the final boss of the level. Now this is the only stage in the game with only one mini-boss, and this is scale on the end of the first level. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a death here intentionally. We're going to plow a bunch of bullets into Scalon, throw a bomb to make sure we don't get tagged when we don't want to be. But we want to take 4 hits off him, and that's 3. That's 4. Now so I want to make sure I don't die too early. I want to make sure I defeat him first. Sadly, we couldn't get 2 cycles in. It's a little tricky, but it's not a huge time loss. It's only about 6 or 7 seconds. So, fun fact, I didn't die, but I've defeated the boss. So what's going to happen now? There's a very odd... I don't know why the devs did this, but his eyes still have a hurt box. So we can use the eyes to take our life off of us and get set up ready for the first continue warp on the 3rd level. So that's Home Sweet Home taken care of, and when we defeated the first boss, we got a little tablet piece. That tablet piece is part of the storyline. We'll be getting one from each of these 4 locations on the map as we move into the apartment. I didn't buy bombs, so that's a little bit awkward. I knew I was going to forget something eventually. That's fine. We should hopefully be fine without them. Might be a little tricky later on in the stage, but no big deal. I mean, hey, if it pays off, it means we save time, right? Didn't have to deal with that pesky shopping.
Yeah, basically the bombs in this game work like, in your shmups and whatnot, they just do screen-wide damage, so whereas usually, like as a normal player, you probably use it as like a panic button, we're just basically using it to clear down the screen as fast as possible. We are going to be using one on this screen to basically just play around with the AI, because as you can see, this room isn't a very fun room. We just have to wait here for these orange guys to dig a hole for us to go through, and there is one particular guy on the left side of the screen. There he is at the top left. Throwing the bomb there just means it resets his AI, so you can make a little stairway. So instead of having to wait for that new bottom guy at the bottom left, you can just jump over.
Yeah. Saves a few
And
seconds.
now we have the fun boss.
Yeah, the siren. So
If you like RNG, this is the boss for you.
absolutely, there's 2 layers of RNG on this boss, and we're not getting good set right now. Basically, every time she shoots on the ground, it's like a checkpoint, and it determines whether she either shoots or splits. But then there's also, as you can see, 3 separate pieces, and depending on where the pieces are that she splits into, depends on how well we can fight the boss. The bottom area, the bottom section, if that's the vulnerable point, then you can one-cycle the boss. But if it's the top most split, then it's quite unfortunate most of the time.
All things considered, that went relatively well.
That did go quite well, to be completely honest. I've genuinely gone plus 50 on that boss before. Plus 50. Seconds, obviously, not minutes, but still, yeah, plus 50. Quite rough.
But yeah, going back to what Jess was saying earlier, so you can see you got those ghost icons at the bottom right. They're the mini bosses in the level. The levels are open, so you have to explore the levels to find all of those mini bosses. And once you find those, the boss room unlocks, and then yeah, you fight the boss. So
yeah, we have here the Krista Robo, and he's got several different moves in his skill set. He can walk, he can jump, he can swing, and he can shoot his gun at you. We actually had a really good cycle. He had 1 swing, that's normally the biggest time loss. But then he just walked towards us, so we could just pepper him full of bullets. It's very nice. So we beat both the mini-bosses, and now we're on to the final boss of the second level. It's the Snowman. He's just going to fly around and spawn little snow kids to try and attack us. We just got to shoot him in the top head to take care of this boss.
They weren't really going for originality on the boss for this level, I will admit.
Yeah. I mean, I like a lot of the boss designs in this game. There's some really, really cool, neat bosses. My favourite's probably the Reaper in the castle, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, this game is pretty much a sleeper, because I think the version of Ghostbusters that most people would have played as a kid would have been well, there was only one other version of Ghostbusters, it just happened to be on every other console under the sun. It was this almost city management going around collecting ghosts. But then, for some reason, the Mega Drive got this game, which was absolutely different. Actually credits the old one in the intro, which I'm not sure why, but yeah, it's instead this fun platformer, and I was fortunate enough to play it as a kid as well.
So we're moving into the Woody house now, and as you notice, it's really dark in here. The idea is it's sort of like a smoke-filled house because there's fire everywhere. So normally we need to wear infrared goggles to be able to see. Oh, dang it. I was trying to be a bit cheesy then and not use the goggles to try and save a little bit of time, but it didn't pay off all that well. Right, I'm going to stop faffing around. I haven't tried that much, to be fair. I thought I'd try and show it off a bit, but no worries. The thing is, we didn't fall down a different way. It would have made things a lot worse and lost a lot more time, so we're okay. So we're moving into the Fire Dragon now. What we're going to do on the Fire Dragon is die again, because we are setting up for our first continue warp, which is going to be on the next boss.
Yeah, so basically we have to go down a really long winding passage to get to the second mini-boss. And once you've beaten him, there is a shortcut back, but the shortcut only takes you back to the start of the level, so at the end of the day it's faster to just get a game over and appear at the start of the level, and then we're back where we would have been anyway. So it gives us a full stock of lives, we get some bombs back, and we can just march on straight to the boss of the level then, who is another really fun one.
Yeah, oh god, the War Man, he's something to behold. But yeah, I'm going to take very specific amounts of damage here, which is very convenient because we're also going to be damage boosting through some objects. We're going to take damage here and here. These firewalls are doing 3 damage to us each time. We're going to throw a bomb so these bats don't bother us, and that's fine. Sadly, we can't damage boost through this firewall. It spawns 3 enemies and it won't let us pass until we defeat them. Like, even if you try damage boosting, you just get blocked. There's an invisible wall there. But we can walk through this one. We have to kill 3 enemies here. Hop over this firewall and walk through this. And now we have a very, very specific amount of health. What I need to do now is take 1 contact hit from the boss. Hopefully at the very end, so it doesn't make things too nerve-wracking, because if this goes wrong, it's about a minute and a half down the drain. I am going to show you guys some cool strats, so hopefully I don't get punished for it. Right, he's blue, he's on his final colour, so I'm going to take my contact damage now. Hopefully he doesn't hit me before he dies. That was really close. Right, so now I'm going to get the ghost to kill me. The little green ghost. It's his revenge. So now that we've done that, basically the way that works is that we've defeated the boss, and then the ghost capturing minigame starts. So it's even though we die in the minigame, the boss beaten flag has already been cleared. So we don't have to beat the boss again. Normally, when you end stages, you get $1,000 for every green ghost that you do catch. We're not going to get paid for that one, but to be honest, the amount of money that we get as a bonus from playing on easy mode, we don't need to catch that ghost, so it's not a concern. It also saves us the animation of catching the ghost. So now we're on Wallman, and this is probably one of the most annoying fights in the game. If you want to talk a bit about that while I focus.
Yeah. So basically, this boss is going to appear from either side, and sometimes he's going to be upside down, sometimes he's not. His weak spot is specifically his mouth. So we have basically just got to hope that he comes out in an angle that we can get 2, preferably 3 shots on him. But when he spits these slimes on the floor, with how slow they move over, they can sometimes block you. He can knock you in the fire. He's just a nightmare at times, and we are going to have to fight him again later as well, and he's just as annoying there as well.
Yep, so we've now beat him, but I actually, in order to continue warp, need to lose a life here. So in order for us to do that, I'm going to jump into the fire, but I'm also going to pick up the tablet at the same time. And there's my little party trick. We've jumped in the fire, we've lost our life, and now we've finished the level. All in a day's work for a Ghostbuster. So yeah, as we've been saying, we have been picking up tablets at the end of every stage. We've just picked up the 3rd, and now they've noticed that, oh no, the ghosts are getting stronger. I don't know why I went in there. We're now moving on to the 4th level and getting the 4th final piece of the tablet in the high-rise building. We've got our first boss coming up here, the Centipede, which is another relatively interesting boss. Basically, I need to lose 1 life in this level, and it's gonna be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that you see here in the window, stalking us. But generally the Centipede likes to be like, no, I'm gonna take that life instead. So, we'll see if he's a pain. The Centipede is one of my favourite bosses. I don't know why. As you attack him, he splits into several new pieces. Like, yeah. Splits his body up as it takes damage. And after a while, all the pieces will erratically fly around the room, and then it'll reform. But we defeat the boss with the 3-way well before that happens.
If this guy will come down.
Yeah.
He's being a bit troublesome.
No worries. So, that's the first boss there. We did lose a life, so we don't want to die again. Luckily, we have an item called the Peking Duck, which, when we consume it, will restore our health back to full. So while Stay Puft can be a pain, with the Peking Duck on our side, he shouldn't end our run. Oh, these mugs are on a bit of an odd cycle. Ouch. Okay, they tagged me, that's fine. Gonna throw a bomb here, take out all of this lot. Throw another bomb here, gonna wait a second for the plates.
Is it right that having a mug thrown at you does the same amount of damage as the Marshmallow Man punching you?
So they say, so they say. I haven't talked much about the Slimers either. You're seeing green ghosts occasionally fly across the screen. Those are Slimers, made after Slimer from the movie. And they will drop... When you defeat them, an egg will crack open. It will either have a blue drop or a red drop inside. And depending on the colour, the blue drop will restore some life, the red drop will restore some energy. It's not often that we need to use them, to be honest. Only if things go kind of bad, we might need to use pick up some bit of a backup. But so far, everything is quite cushy. We're going on to the last mini-boss, the Shell Beast, who is another RNG-based boss, but not quite so bad, because he likes to roll up into a ball, and when he does, he's invulnerable. But he decides when he wants to roll into a ball or not. He might only bounce once, he might bounce 5 times. Every time he shoots, he tries to locate the player's position. If he doesn't find the player under him before he shoots, he might turn into a ball or he might move. After he's shot, he might turn into a ball or he might move. He's actually being quite kind to me and I'm not taking advantage of his kindness. But he's taken care of. Good Shell Beast fight. Only turned to a ball once after the start. Not too bad. So I am going to take this Slimer, see if he drops a health, just in case he doesn't. I'll take the
And
energy
we're
anyway.
absolutely not going to pause the game.
No, we're not. If you pause the game and try to select a new weapon whilst that ladder is descending, the game will softlock. The ladder will stop descending, and you will never be able to finish the level. Even if you exit and come back, the ladder will never fall again.
Oh,
Ow.
is it even after you leave the level? I
I
didn't know
believe so.
that
I
detail.
believe so. I never actually tried that.
Because you've not really got a chance to
heard
see,
it.
but basically in this game you actually get to choose the order of your first 4 levels, kind
Yes,
of Mega
yes, you
Man-ish.
do. Yeah.
I suppose you can even pick and choose them, can't you, by getting ghosts from one level and then going to another and then finishing them off later?
No, once you start a level, you have to finish it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. That's the Stay Puft fight gone. Stay Puft has a very interesting retcon in this game. He isn't a conjured beast from Gozer. He is instead someone who ate too many marshmallows one day and then woke up the next morning as the Marshmallow Man.
Been there, done that.
Yep. So we're going to be doing our second continue warp here. Now we've entered the castle, the second last level. We've got all 4 pieces of the tablet, and when we returned to the Ghostbusters house, someone had kidnapped the other Ghostbusters. That person is Arthur, who lives in this castle, and he's told us that we must return to him the 4 pieces of the tablet that we got, and he'll return the Ghostbusters. So we gave him the tablet, and then he said, right, well, your Ghostbuster friends are in here, go find them. Right, so we are now set up for the continue warp. I need to take 2 tags off this ghost. I thought I was a bit too close to that trap then, I was about to catch it, I was a bit nervous then. So we're taking 1 tap, we're taking 2 taps, continue warp, back to the start of the level, and we're also going to buy up bombs again. Because, as Mima said earlier, very briefly, you might not have picked up on it, but when you lose a continue, your bombs are restocked to 3 if you have less than 3. So it effectively means we have to buy less bombs, it means we have to spend less time in the shop buying bombs. That slime was mean to me. That slime almost was, but you thought about it.
Is now a good time for Arg to read anything out?
Actually, yeah, I'd say so. We've got another fight similar to the first one that we had, just against Peter. But yeah, if there's anything that wants to be read out, Arg, now's a good time.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. We have a $5 donation from the one and only Kifrius Kane. So you know what's coming next. When there's something strange in the neighborhood, who are you going to call? Your home insurance, because you got to make sure it doesn't affect your premiums.
Absolutely.
And we also got a $10 donation from Buglore as well, who says, I ain't afraid of no goats. Who would be? But it's goats, you know? I think they missed the point of the game.
Yeah, there's another climbing section here, so if there's a couple more, you can go ahead.
Well, that is what we have at the moment, but I do want to let you all know that all the money raised today, tomorrow, and Sunday, basically for the entire event, is going to Crisis, and we do have a number of incentives open as well. When you click on the donate here button down below the stream there, make sure to put your donations towards any of our open incentives. Tonight, we have the Cyberpunk 2077 run happening, and we can ride the roller coaster with the one and only Keanu Reeves. Do you want to ride the roller coaster with Keanu? I want to ride the roller coaster with Keanu.
So this is definitely my least favorite boss in the whole game. It's the broccoli worm. The reason why I dislike this game is after it splits, it sort of has active and inactive pieces. There's 6. It's split into 6 pieces. But effectively, the active pieces, and you don't know which ones they are, and you actually don't even know how many there will be. There could be 1, there could be 5. You don't know. But what they will do is endlessly respawn inactive pieces until there's 6 again. So this boss can take 30 seconds, this boss can take 2 minutes. It's an absolute nightmare.
That was a really good kill.
It was a pretty good kill, I'll be fair, yes. I've eaten the Peking Duck now because I don't really want to lose a life to this boss. This is the Reaper. This is probably my favourite aesthetic boss in the game. He's a pretty damn cool Reaper. But we're going to be using a strat with the way he patrols across the top of the stage. We're going to manipulate his movement by moving the camera, and by doing that, hopefully get him to take more shots from our Phasar shell.
It's just
So
a bit
now
of a big leap going from, you know, a strange worm the Marshmallow Man to just outright fighting the embodiment of
Reaper.
death.
Yeah, and he's not even a main boss, he's a mini-boss. Like, that's a real travesty, that is.
Kind of embarrassing when you see what he's the minion to as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Bless him. Then again, people don't always like their bosses, do they? There are some nice bosses out there, but that's the Reaper taken care of. Lovely. Right, so that's all 4 bosses here done. We have a small bit of platforming to do before the final boss, but we're doing it in a way because when you jump, the screen stops scrolling. So we're going to jump across here, and then we're going to jump before the screen scrolls, and that will manipulate the way these platforms spawn and interact, so we can go straight across it in one sweep movement. So that makes very light work of what is otherwise a very annoying platforming section. This is probably the weirdest but most intriguing boss fight in the game. I think it's the only boss that takes direct damage from bombs. There are bosses that have like minions or extra bits that take damage from bombs, but this is, I think, the only boss in the game that actually takes direct damage from bombs. We're using the Phasar shell here. It will do more damage than the bombs by a slight degree. But effectively the bomb is a safe backup to do damage in case you're about to miss your shot. It's quicker to fire than the Phasar shell.
It's also a very obvious reference to a certain other horror movie.
True, yeah.
Also starring Rick Moranis from Ghostbusters.
Indeed. So now we've beaten the plant, and when we beat the plant, there's a strange jewel that came out of the plant, and we put that in the middle of the tablet. And then this happened. The Ghostbusters just killed thousands of people. Ghostbusters, please, you're meant to be the good guys here. And then the mayor comes in saying, oh my gosh, a big hole opened up in the middle of New York City. What, can you guys fix it? And they basically turn around and say, we shouldn't tell them that this is our fault. So they don't even own up to it. I'm absolutely disgusted at the behaviour of the Ghostbusters in this game. But as we do, we're going into the hole now to do the final level, the deep hole. The deep hole is an amalgamation of the other main boss fights as mini-bosses. Sadly, the sole exception is we don't get to see the Marshmallow Man again. Big shame, he's my favourite. Love the Marshmallow Man in the movie when I was a kid.
It was definitely my favourite boss when I played it as a kid.
Yeah. So what we're going to try and do is get Scalon up against the wall. Hopefully he turns around nice and quick, that's brilliant. Because the Phasar shell can only shoot one projectile, be active at a time, but the wall will delete the projectile for us. So effectively means we can shoot faster. Ooh, nah, that's fine. I'm also going to fluff it, apparently. That was a very, very bad time for a respawn. I got caught by the scale quite badly then. It's okay. Right, there we go. He's taken care of, and yet again, these eyes will pop out, and yes, they do still hurt, so we're not going to touch them now. There shouldn't be any more continue warps in the game, all things being well.
So yeah, we have, after this, 3 more mini-bosses, and then it is the finale, who
Indeed.
is also a very annoying boss at times, so you have that to look forward to.
Absolutely. Very nice hopping there. Now we're going on to the Snowman, and this time we have the Phasar shell. Last time we didn't have it. It's much quicker at defeating the boss than the 3-way is. It's just that we don't have it when we fight him the first time, because we take a separate route. On normal, you start with less money. So generally what happens is they will get the Phasar shell and go straight into the Woody house and clear the Woody house first, and then afterwards go into the apartment. Whereas we start with more money, so we buy the 3-way first and then go into the apartment.
I am surprised that last hit actually connected. That must be a giant
Yes.
hitbox.
That is a very generous hitbox.
I also just know that when you kill him, he grows an extra set of arms.
Yeah, that is very weird. We never see them. Until then. If only he used them, maybe he could have defeated us, but nope.
So this level's a bit of a chore to get through. I don't know what are they meant to be. Those green things, they do a crazy amount of damage for what is.
The thing that's most annoying about them is they do different amounts of damage. Some will do 3 damage, some will literally take away half my health bar.
Oh, okay.
Like this one here that I just jumped over, that will only do 3, but the one next to him will take away my health bar. So now we're up against a plant again. Not very long since we saw him last, not much has really changed. The arena's a little bit smaller, but otherwise there's not really much to talk about on this one. So if there is
Generally,
anything...
this guy's the easiest boss in the game, I would probably say.
Yeah, I'd say so. But is there anything you want to say, Argik? Now's you got a minute or so.
I don't have anything to say, but Classic X Chunk does with $20, as they say, this game was such a huge part of my childhood. Gobsmacked to see it getting utterly destroyed. Amazing stuff. Don't cross the streams.
Don't cross the streams.
Or maybe we should.
Oh. It could be a time-saving strat.
Yeah, it could be. I should try that next time. Right, so we've only got 2 bosses now to go. We have the Return of Warman, which is definitely my least... Actually, I don't know. It's torn between this and Broccoli Worm as my least favourite fight. Because the first time we fight Warman, he drops those little slimes. He has a nice little fire pit in the middle, and the slimes just sort of waddle off into that and burn away. There's no fire pit here, so they now crawl across the entire width of the arena, and they are an absolute pain in blocking our way to get more hits in.
Basically, they just about timed that if he drops them on one side, they will be at the right position on the opposite side to stop you shooting him if he's raised up like that.
Yeah, it's quite a pain. It's quite a pain, but it seems to be going quite well so far. But again, there's not much else to say while this boss is being defeated, so if there's anything else you've got, now's a good moment.
Again, just want to let you all know we are raising money to support Crisis. They are a charity who are supporting people out of homelessness for good. They achieve this through education, training, and support with housing, employment, and health. All of your donations will be supporting Crisis. Do please keep your donations coming in. They are absolutely wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for your support so far.
Brilliant. Right, so that's Warman 2 done. So we're going to move over here, and it kind of shifts the ghost across a couple of pixels, get him across here faster. So we're going to catch him, and then we're going to be moving on to the final boss, Janna. Janna is quite interesting. She's got 2 phases. The first phase, she just kind of sits there and throws her weapon at you. And the second phase, she starts flying around.
And also throwing her weapon at you.
While also throwing her weapon at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite chunky health bar. It's quite a long fight. I'm hoping... Actually, no, I don't need it. I was about to say, I hope I can get that Slimer for the energy, but I actually notice my energy is actually really good for this point in the game. Normally, I'm about halfway or worse. So that's nice. I'm going to change to the normal shot here, because we're going to do a strategy where we jump through her while she's spawning, and then we're going to be very, very unsportsmanlike and shoot her in the back of the head. Repeatedly. Until we break that first phase. There's nothing else really that she does here. It's just waiting for that arm to drop.
Yeah, the first phase is... well, both phases, to be honest, have a much bigger health bar than they probably should. But
yeah. Shoutouts to Brando for that strat that I nabbed off him. Oh, she's yeeted herself for some reason. So what normally happens is she pops herself up very briefly, but every now and then she likes to yeet herself off the map in various ways. I've never seen her go directly down before. That was quite a new and interesting one. But yeah, now we're effectively blind shooting into the air to try and hit her head. Sometimes she likes to go out of bounds, and that's really annoying because then you can't hit her and you have to wait for her to get back in. But she's doing quite well for us at the moment. She's sitting at that nice level where we can shoot her directly from here. Oh, she's just moved now.
She's really behaving compared to usual.
Yeah, she is.
Probably like making up for the whole flying out of the arena at the start.
Yeah. So time's going to be coming up as she's dying. It's about 10 seconds after the death animation starts is when the final jewel will appear to solve the problem. And we can pick that up. But it's just waiting for that last blow to be hit. Should be soon, because the music's repeated, so it should be about now. Although her yeeting herself around like this is not helping me in these matters. Her movement is completely random.
I really jinxed it with saying that
There
she
we
was
go,
behaving.
right, she's down. It's going to be... Time's coming up. As soon as I pick up this invisible jewel that's going to be on the floor.
He poses, right?
There we go. Time is there. That's Ghostbusters. Egon easy. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. Good run. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Broccoli Worm, I'm surprised he wasn't a pain, but that was a lot of... yeah, that was a good run. Very much enjoyed that. I know a lot of people do Ray and Peter runs. I do them as well myself, but Egon especially I like because of the continue warp, so we get to do other interesting things to save time. Yeah, that's it from me for Ghostbusters. Anything you want to say, Mima, before we move on?
No, not really, because we'll be back.
Yeah, we'll see you in a few for X Mutants.
Indeed. Thanks for a great run there. As you just said, you're doing my job for me. Got no reason to be here. We will be back in a couple of minutes, folks, with Destructiox once again, as we are going to get set up for our next run, and that is going to be X Mutants.